heard that. So welcome to Care Dangerous Talk.
What's up? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, oh yeah, no doubt. So the way I like to start off the show is I'm gonna give you your flowers. That's where I get a chance to say something nice about you that I like or love. So you ready for that?
I'm ready.
All right, so sit back and relax and let me give you your flowers. Bam. So it's pretty easy for me to give you your flowers, to be honest with you. So it's like I had no idea that you were the person behind the music that I love so much. And it was crazy when just by chance I just connected with you, and then you invited me to your studio.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was so beautiful of you to do that. I mean, you just gave me an invite. You didn't even know me like that.
But I do that
And
too. Honestly, I do that to a few people because, like some people I just know they're serious about their craft, and I wish I had somebody to do that for me when I was coming up. So, and I know a little experience like that can kind of change somebody's mindset on their career. So I try to do that as much as I can. You know what I mean?
oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, so when you did that, I mean, I just felt like I was dreaming. I've been to studios before, but just to know that I was around a place with some of the songs that I love probably happened right there.
Right.
And to know that you were the person who made those sounds, it was just crazy to me. And then just to be like in New York, a place that, growing up is, in the 90s, it's the mecca of the music. So
Yeah.
for me, it was just, I don't know, you right there, the heart of Manhattan. It was crazy. So basically, for your flowers, I'm just saying you're a pretty humble dude. You know, you're kind, and I really appreciate that, man. That was so dope of you, just
No
in
problem.
general.
No problem. As
Yeah.
long as you enjoyed yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's hard for me to figure out where I want to start with you because I'm just so hyped about your music, man. I want to know the beginnings. I want to go through everything with you. I just want to tell you because I don't think I actually told you when I chill with you. It's like your music, it gives me like an experience that I just can't even hardly explain, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I've even
I just think music is always about a feel, man. I don't make music for it to sound good necessarily. I make music for it to give you a feeling. You know what I mean? Like if you listen to music and it gives you a feeling, you never forget it. Like a lot of people make music that sounds good, but like that those sounds go away over time, but the feeling lasts with you forever. Like you remember songs that you listened to probably when you was 12 years old because of the feeling that it gave you. You know what I mean? Not necessarily because of the way it was mixed or the sound. It was just a vibe.
yeah, brother, but you gotta let you gotta let me tell you, like there is good music, but I'm telling you, when I say experience, your records give me a whole experience. Like, and I'm not saying it to blow your head up or anything. It's like when I listen to Dipset Anthem or just the Purple Haze album, which to me is one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. Just in my personal opinion, I'm a big Cameron fan.
Right.
It's like a lot of your beats just sound like straight anthems, and I don't know if you do that on purpose.
I mean, I not try to make it anthems on purpose, but what I try to do is I try to give it a feeling that's gonna make you like if you in the gym, it's gonna make you get an extra 4 or 5 reps in. If you running, it's gonna make you run an extra mile. If it's no matter what it is, it's gonna push you to the limit. That's the type of music I try to make, or I hope to make. But sometimes I change the vibe up, but it's always gonna give you a feeling. All of my music gives you a feeling. I don't try to make anything that you walk away with nothing from. You know what I mean? Like I want you to leave
Yeah,
saying like, yo, his music is different.
I'm telling you, when I first moved to New York, I was taking the subways, I was listening to the Dipset anthem, and it's like either that song can make you want to fight or it can just uplift you, it can motivate you. And
Yeah.
I tell you, look, no lie, I told somebody, I was like, I think I caught the Holy Spirit. And somebody was like, Carol, you wild and Carol, but I was dead ass serious.
Yeah, that shit. To me, it's like I want my music to feel like gospel and not when I say gospel, I don't mean gospel music, but I want it to feel like like when you go to church, you know what type of music to expect when you go to church.
Yeah.
I want when you put on a Heatmakers record, you know what you're getting already. It's like the church of the Heatmakers. Like it's gonna be like the Heatmakers gospel type of thing. You know what I mean? Like when you listen to it, it just comes along with its own energy, and that's what I've always tried to make. And I just feel like as of the last few years, I've been getting way better at it. Like I think, you know, I was good before, but I think now I've kind of like I figured it out.
Okay, be honest, because you know I'm a rapper. I write when you know every now and then you will write a line. Well, a lot of times you will write a line. You be like, woo, woo, woo. Like,
Right.
do you be behind your
Of
your
course,
little?
of course, I do that because it's like before when I used to do like back in the day, if I'd make like 5, 6 records for the day, I'd probably end up keeping like 2. But now
Okay.
I'm to the point where I'm keeping 5 out of 5. You know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah.
like I cracked the code now. Like I figured it out. I don't really waste music anymore. Everything I make has a certain vibe attached to it.
And is that probably because you grown in confidence, or you feel where you good right now in your music, or?
I think when I stopped caring other people's opinion was about my music, I made better music. Like I don't make music trying to please anybody. I just make music trying to please myself. If I can make
Yeah.
myself happy, I know the world gonna love it. Cause I'm a hard critic on myself.
I like that. I like that. So I want to backtrack a little bit because I just jumped right into the fan of me to you just came out a little bit. So for the people who don't know, and everybody don't really like to say this, but just tell the people some of the folks you work with in the industry besides Dipset, because we know you work with them.
I've worked with obviously all the solo members of Dipset on their solo projects. Rick Ross. I've worked with 2 Chainz. I've worked with Lil Wayne. I'm back to working with Little Flip. Back in the day, I've worked with T.I. I've worked with Joel Ortiz, Fred the Godson, Crooked I, Ghostface, Scarface,
Cannabis.
Gucci Man. Yeah, Gucci Man, Cannabis.
Remy Ma.
Yeah, Remy Ma, Fat Joe. I've worked with a bunch
P&B
of people.
Rock.
Yeah,
Beyonce.
yeah, Currency. Yeah, you know what I mean? I've worked with, like, running it off, it sounds crazy to me now, but I don't think about it like that. But it's a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of people.
Yes, you have. That is so crazy. So look, I've heard that you started out doing music in your mom's basement. Is that true?
Yeah, that's a fact. A million
That's
percent
a
fact. That basement was rocking, man. I used to, even when shit went, like when I did all the Dipset shit and I was making money, I was still making beats there because of the vibe. I needed that vibe. I needed 25 people around me. Some people playing dice, some people playing Xbox, some people playing dominoes, other people just talking and bullshitting, and I'm making beats. Like I kind of needed that energy, and that was the energy of Diplomatic Community. Was like, it was just me and a bunch of my niggas in the crib. Just, you know, like only me and one of my homeboys made beats at the time, but everybody else was just around, and the vibe was crazy. So that's where that
yes.
music came from, was that energy. You know what I mean?
So you're not particularly someone that needs quiet. Do you ever need quiet to make your beats or your records, or you
No,
love people
I
around
don't.
all the time?
I can make music anywhere. It don't matter.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it don't matter to me because I said I started making music. I started making music with tons of people around me, so it don't really matter now if I got quiet or I don't. I just work.
Yes. So when you're in the basement of your mom's house,
Yeah.
what was your goals? Did you
My
have
goal.
goals, or were you just making music down there? Like,
Anybody that's been there could tell you. I had a piece of paper on the wall that said it's been promised to me, right? And I put that up there from, I want to say 96 or 97. I put it up there, and I just always believed that whatever you want in life is promised to you, but you just got to go get it. You understand? Like, it's in that place for you, but it might be a far place. You just got to travel and go get it, but you got to go get it. And that sign on my wall, I kept that up there till I left that basement. You know what I mean? And that was just always a reminder to me, like it was almost promised to you. You don't gotta think harder than that. Just work. It's already promised to you. Just work. And that's kind of what I did. I just worked.
So was it ever intimidating when you was in the studio with these guys, like the
Of
Dipset
course, like
at first?
well, with my first studio session ever was with Cannabis, and I remember me and my partner sold the beat, and we had to at that time you had to track out the beat in the studio. It wasn't like now where you could track it out through Pro Tools and email it. This was like you had to bring your drum machine, plug the shit up through SMPTE. You probably don't know what that means, but anybody that's been making beats for a while, it's some old school shit. This is how you lock up the beat machine to the computer. And I remember I never did that before. This is the first beat I ever sold. And the engineer was making me feel crazy. Like, yo, what do? You call yourself a producer? You don't know how to do this? And I just remember that day. And I just remember saying to myself, I got to know everything. I don't want anybody to ever talk to me like this again. I got to know everything. You know, whether it's producing, whether it's engineering, whether it's mixing, whether it's mastering, whatever it is, I got to know everything. Like, this is my profession. I got to know everything. You know what I mean? And even though it was a terrible day for me, like as far as embarrassment goes, it was probably one of the best lessons of my life.
So you taught yourself all those little things that you know. You just sitting there grinding.
Everything. I mean, my older partner Thriller, he was making beats before me, and he showed me things on the MPC. But as far as me mastering the way I do things or trying to master the way I do things, I was pretty much self-taught after a certain point. You know what I mean? Like mixing and mastering, I'm self-taught. Engineering as a whole, I'm self-taught, but it's not rocket science.
So no excuse.
No, should never be any excuse.
Okay, so now I know a lot of times when you have these big goals for yourself, you know, people are trying to come in and put doubt in your mind.
Of course.
Did you have some people like that in the beginning?
There's one chick that I remember specifically. She was, because you got to remember the era that I'm trying to get in was like the hip hop party era where like, you know, Diddy's making like, you know, club records and shit like that. And I get in the game and my music is like what you hear from Dipset, like slow, a little slow, like even though it was sped up, the tempo was slower, the groove was different. And I remember a chick saying to me like, yo, why your music sound like that? Like make something that don't sound so like dark and grimy. Like why you should sound like that? And I just remember looking at her like, I'm going to show you how. I didn't say this to her, but in my head, I'm like, I'm going to show you how I dictate music and turn this whole shit around. Watch with this type of shit. Because everybody was doing the same shit. Anytime everybody's doing the same shit and you just veer off a little bit, you out of here. But people don't realize that shit. Everybody want to jump in the same lane and do what everybody else is doing. I'm not really with that. You know, so that's always been my mindset from back then. So when we got in, that shit just took off. You know, Dipset, they just had the right charisma to pull that shit off. And they made that shit sound epic, in my opinion.
Yes. All the producers I've had on so far have all been leaders. I mean, I haven't heard I had another multi-platinum producer on, and he said the same thing as you. I had another one on, and he said the same thing. Always just want to be original, just stay on their own path. So that's very important to y'all. That's beautiful. I know that you said when you was down in the basement, when people were doubting you, you also had some anger that was coming along with that. What was going on in your life back then? Like,
you're talking about the basement before Dipset?
Yes.
I was broke. I'm not gonna lie about it. I didn't have no money. I was trying to figure life out. You know what I mean? I felt mad at everybody. Like niggas owed me something. I was just mad. You know what I mean? But at that point in my life, I didn't know how to channel my anger into motivation. I channeled my anger was just anger. Like I just felt like I wanted to hurt somebody type of thing. You know what I mean? But I think later on in my life, when I realized I needed that anger to fuel my motivation, it turned my whole life around. Like I tell people all the time, they be like, what would you do different if you could change something? And I said, I would have got angry sooner and learned how to use that anger. You understand? Like everybody looks at anger as a bad thing. That shit is probably one of the best things in the world, because if anger don't drive you, then you're just not a driven person, period. You understand? Like if somebody shuts you down, that should make you want to go home and get 20 times as nice. You understand? Like no matter what aspect of life it is. If you a dude and you trying to talk to a chick and she's like, yo, you sloppy, you look crazy, and that don't motivate you to get your shit together, just to get back in front of it and be like, look, then you're not a motivated person. Nothing's gonna motivate you. So with me, with music, when people don't mention my name in certain things, or they don't talk about my music or act like I didn't do nothing, I love that in a way. It motivates me. I just get better so they can keep doing that. You know, like, I need that.
That's what I wanted to get at, because some people, I want to know, how did you use that anger to motivate you? Because a lot of people just angry.
Right, but you got to think about it. I'm sure you've been in situations that you was ready to explode. You know what I mean? And you got to realize that I could just either sit here and be mad and tear up everything in my house, or I could say I'm gonna put this energy to something positive. You understand? Like, if you were somebody that want to lose weight, go to the gym. When you angry like that, take the energy out in the gym. If you somebody that makes music, put some extra hours in the studio while you angry. Make music about what you angry about. Make angry music. Whatever it is that's gonna get it off your chest, you got to learn how to use that. A lot of people don't know how to use it. A lot of people just mad, and they make other people's lives miserable. Like, some of the best music you ever heard from me was me being mad as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, when I made Dipset Anthem broke, I was mad.
Boy, I'm glad you were broke, cause I'm telling you, that's one of my favorite tracks ever. Ever. Did you know you had? Did you know you had gold when you made that track?
No, the one track that I knew was special was I'm Ready. Dipset Anthem, I almost threw Dipset Anthem away. My cousin walked in the crib and told me not to throw it away. If my cousin would have came 10 minutes later, I'd have threw that bitch in the trash.
Why?
Because around that time, I used to make about, during those days, I used to make like about 4 to 5 beats a day, and that was the last beat I made for the day. So I didn't know if my ears was like lying to me or not, because I wasn't sure if it sounded good if I was just bugging. I didn't know. So right before I'm about to turn it off, my cousin walks in, and I'm like, "You fuck with this?" He was like, "Yo, this is crazy," and that's the only reason I saved it, because of him.
Yeah, sometimes we just gotta step back and give things a second. Like, I mean, you don't take your time to like listen to it this moment and then just sit on it for a second and then.
I make music off of the vibe of right now. Like, if I'm making music and it don't sound good to me now while I'm in the moment, I'm not really fucking with it. It got to give me a vibe right then and there on the spot, because in my head, the first person I play for, their first reaction is going to be my first reaction. You understand? So if off top I loved it, they're gonna love it off top. I just kind of know the people that fuck with my music. I'm not saying everybody, but people that are fans of my music, if I love it 10 minutes into the beat, people gonna love it. I know that already. Like State of the Union that I did for the El Capo album, that beat probably took me about 15 minutes. I knew from the minute I started putting that together what that was. You know what I mean? The same thing with New York City. The same thing with Crystal Occasions. Like, there's just certain records, when I started putting them together, I know what it is already.
Now, how exactly did the relationship with Dipset come to be? Like, how did that start?
It started with a dude by the name of Renee McLean. He was managing Cam at the time, and me and my peoples went to go see him because he used to get records played on the radio. I think he managed a couple DJs. So we had an artist at the time. We went to go see him, and he was like, "Yo, what do y'all do?" We said, "We make beats." And he was like, "Yo, I manage Cam, give me some beats." And I always walked around with a CD on me, gave him a CD with like 20 beats. And out of those 20 beats, they picked 9 off of there for Diplomatic Immunity. And then we added, we did Dipset Anthem after that. And we did, I want to say More Than Music. I think More Than Music and Dipset Anthem were the last 2 songs we did for that album.
How was it working in the studio with Cameron? Like, to me, he just a wordsmith. Like,
Cam is to the point. Like, Cam will come to the studio if he already had the beat. He's gonna come to the studio ready and knock his record or his verse out in no time. You know what I mean? Like, Jim is more the type, because Jim doesn't write, so Jim will come to the studio and just lay on the couch for about 20 minutes, fall asleep, and wake up with his verse, and then go in the booth. Joel's will sit in the booth for a while and get his lines together. And, all of them got their own process, but it's dope.
Has there been an artist you've learned the most from just with working with them?
Artists I learned the most from, I learned from every artist I work with because each of them make you have to bring out a different aspect of your talent. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm not making Jim the same records I would make Cam. A lot of people might think that, like, yo, they all like their own type of shit. Like, Jim isn't gonna pick the same records Cam is gonna pick, and Joel's ain't gonna pick the same records Jim is gonna pick. It's just they all different. But I understand it, and I know how to work with each of them accordingly. You know what I mean? Like, I'll make a beat, and in my head I can already hear Cam on there, or I can already hear Jim or Joel's, and I'll just send it to whoever I hear in my head on it. And 9 out of 10 times I'm right.
Now, your beats are always great, but you definitely have a touch with using samples, wouldn't you say? Like,
I mean, it's hard for me to say because it's me. You know what I mean? Like, it's me. It's not like I can't hear. It's like, you know how some people say you can't see the picture if you're standing in the frame?
yes.
I'm in the frame. So I can't see what everybody else, I can't hear what everybody else hears because I'm the one that's making it. So it's hard for me to.
Arsonist, did you just hear me say that I have an experience when I listen to your music? I catch the Holy Ghost.
I appreciate that. But I'm just saying, me, I've never put my music on a pedestal. I just know when I've outdone myself, if that makes any sense. You understand? Like, I know when I've topped my previous self. But other than that, it's hard for me to really break that down because I'm me and I can't hear what everybody else is hearing.
Well, let me ask you in a different way then, because you know other producers, and you know some producers just don't know their way around a sample. Okay? Right. You know your way around a sample. I mean, when I listened to the record you did with Jim Jones, I mean, those sample records, I mean, you just have a special touch to them. I mean, some people get a sample and just make it sound like a bunch of mess. Is there a certain approach that you take to those records that you make out of samples?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been doing it so long now that it's like breathing to me. You know what I mean? Like, you don't got, when you breathe, you're not thinking to breathe, you just breathe. That's how I make music. It's like when I turn the machine on, I'm not even thinking about what buttons I'm pressing. I just know where everything is at, and I know my way around the shit, and I know what I want to do. Like, I look at a sample like a puzzle because I'm never going to put it back together the way that it was. Like, a lot of times if I'm speeding it up, I'm chopping it up, I'm rearranging things, I'm doing whatever, but I just look at it like a puzzle. And a lot of times I got to like keep fucking with the puzzle till I get it all together, but I've become better now. Like, I can get it together faster. Before it was like I would settle. Like, a lot of times I would do something with a sample and it would sound good enough and I would settle. But now I'm to the point where I know how to take it to that next level, so it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, to give you that feeling that you're talking about. Like, I feel like I've mastered that now.
Yeah, because I saw a video of you go to a record store and you blindly picked 3 records and you made a sample that same day. Right. And it was outrageous.
But that, you know what? Not even to sound like that, I want to do that over. The reason why I say that, because at the time, it was just a whole different time for me. I'm so much better now. I'm so much better now. I just want to do that over and really get busy, but you know, it is what it is. I'm a competitive type of person when it comes to shit like that.
And that's why you are where you are. Now, I wanna hit on something because I think it's good to let people know you can't always get, oh, you're good, you're good, you're good. I know you said at one point back in the day, you know, it was different because you had to be face to face with people when they were listening to your music. Like, tell us why it's important to be able to get critiqued and to have those moments.
I just believe, like the story I told earlier when that engineer embarrassed me in the studio, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody needs an experience like that face to face to humble you. You understand? Because of the internet now, what happens is everybody think because they can put a hi-hat on a beat and a kick and a piano, one sound piano in the background, they feel like they're a producer. I wish that it could go back to the point where they have to go into the studio with 7 other producers and everybody gets their turn to play beats for whoever they want to name. Let's say it was Young Thug. And they can hear their direct competition in the same room. Because that'll force you to go home and get better, because I don't care who you are. You know if somebody's music sounds better than you, if they're more advanced than you, unless you're just gonna lie to yourself. You understand? Like, and you know
Yes.
when you're better than somebody else. But the problem is a lot of these newer producers and newer artists, because they've never experienced that, their friends are lying to them. They're lying to themselves. Everybody that's around them is a friend they grew up with that's like, yo, your shit is crazy, your shit is crazy. Meanwhile, you haven't competed with anybody to even see if your shit is crazy or not. These are just your homeboys from around your way gassing you. You understand? I feel like everybody needs to hear their direct competition so they can know how far off they are from where they need to be. You know what I mean? Because that's the fucked up part with the game now. Because of the internet, you have direct access to anybody, right? Whether they respond to you is on them or not, but you have direct access to pretty much anybody. And that's the problem to me, is that not everybody should have access to everybody. You understand? Like, it becomes too chaotic. And that's probably why records are selling less. That's why a lot of things are selling less, because everything is too accessible. You know what I mean? Like right now, if I'm talking about anything, I can go online and find it. So the value of shit goes down when that happens. And I think the value of talent has gone down because that's what's happening. You understand? Like everybody can make music now in their house because they can download some free shit and buy a mic and put the shit up online. And you understand? Like it's too much. It's the wild, wild west out here.
Are you able to test out people? Like if an artist come to you, can you tell what kind of artist they are? If they're one of those artists like that, or they're a real one? Like, do you have anything you do to kind of set people apart?
I mean, me personally, I can tell. I wouldn't, unless I become cool with the person, I'm not going to tell them that, because I don't want to personally crush anybody's dreams, because I want people to keep their confidence. But to me, like, I know a bunch of people who have trying to be artists for years, and they're not breaking through. And in my head, it's like, this person would serve better as a manager. But in their head, it's like, I got to be a rapper. I got to be a rapper. Meanwhile, all your skills lead you to the management side, but you don't want to accept that. You just want to keep trying to make music. Now you're in your late 30s. Now you're in your early 40s. Now you look crazy. You understand? Like, at some point, you got to be real with yourself, no matter who you are. You understand? Like, you got to be real with yourself and say, maybe this might not work. Can I redirect my energy to something else in the industry that might work? And I think some people never come to that realization sometimes.
Well, you know what? You told me that my album sounded good, so I'm going to keep going.
No, it did sound good. It did sound good. I wouldn't have told you. Anybody that know me know I'm not going to say nothing of it. You know what I mean? It sounded good.
Thank you, bro. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking in general. I've met thousands.
No, I know.
Years, you know what I mean? So I'm not speaking about anybody specific. I've just met all types of artists. Some that are delusional, some that are not, some that are really talented but don't work hard enough. I've met all types.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was just bigging myself up. That's all. I know.
Oh,
yeah. Oh man. You play any instruments?
Well, I'm actually picking up. Well, I like keys and all that. I don't play the keys like you would see. I just know my way around the keyboard. If you know what I mean. Like I'm not tone deaf. I can do what I want to do, but I just love sampling. But I'm actually taking guitar lessons. Like I started like about 3 weeks ago. So I'm trying to get nicer in that sense. I'm just trying to expand my talents, my skills and shit like that. You know, no specific reason. I just want to learn how to play the guitar.
Oh, that's lovely. So, okay, I'm glad to have you on here because, and I want to ask this, and I don't know how you're gonna feel about this question, but one of the producers I had on, Troy Oliver, we were talking about producers versus beat makers. Right. Obviously, you're a producer. What is your definition of a producer? And I just want to see if you give me a different answer because this is so interesting to me.
No, it's really a simple answer that you can that everybody can understand. Okay. Production is everything that happens after you make the beat. Mm-hmm. Right? Everything when you just make the beat, at that moment you're a beat maker. You understand? When you start arranging the record, when you have an artist on there and you realize that I might not need this sound, let me take it out, or instead of doing 16 bars, cut it down to 12. Now you're producing the record. You understand? Like a beat maker isn't even thinking about an artist getting on the record. He just wants to make the shit sound exciting and crazy, and he don't understand how the artist is gonna fit in there. You know what I mean? Like when I first started off my career, I considered myself, I was a beat maker. Like I didn't understand how to work with artists, how, you know, like the concept of less is more. Like you might not need all those sounds in the beat because you got to leave room for the artist to get on there. Like, you know, a lot of that stuff I didn't comprehend. So I was a beat maker back then, but now I've executive produced like about 5 albums, and I understand the concept of making records now.
Do you feel that you could do other genres of music, or do you just look at yourself as a hip hop producer?
Nah, I could definitely do other genres of music, but there has to be some sort of give and take. You understand? Like I still want to keep the essence of my sound. I'm not going to surrender my sound because I'm doing a pop record. A Heatmaker's pop record will sound dope. I'll do it the way I do it. You know what I mean? Like I can fit into any mold of music, but the artist has to be willing to meet me halfway. You understand? Like I'll meet them halfway. They got to meet me halfway. I'm not gonna. What's the sense of getting the Heatmakers to do your record if you want me to abandon my sound? It don't make sense.
Right. Because we already know what we did. It's gonna be dope, and we know how you do it. So,
like right now, me and my homeboy Mark, everybody that listened to El Capo, my man Mark Scabilia, me and him started a project together. So we coming from 2 different worlds, and the records that we got so far sound insane. So I already know, but we're only gonna do about 7. But by the time we do 7, it's gonna sound incredible. You know what I mean? And he doesn't know much about hip hop. I don't know much about the type of music he does. But when we work together, like magic happens. Because I don't ask him to do nothing he wouldn't do. He don't ask me to do nothing I wouldn't do. But somehow we meet in the middle and it works.
somebody just asked a question here, and I kind of wanted to ask something like this, so I'm gonna say it. Has the industry tried to change you? Because what I want to know is, like, hip hop, just like every other genre, goes through these changes, and right now it is this like sad, dark hip hop, which you describe your sound as dark, but it's really not. I get what you're saying.
No,
but
for the time that it was coming out, that was
it was
considered
dark.
darker. Yeah, now
I get what you're
it's like,
saying.
yeah, now it's like people are doing music with a lot of dark strings, and it's just trap drums over dark strings, dark pianos. You know what I mean? So I get it. I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying, I feel like once somebody else figures out the next wave to take it, that's the dude that's gonna be up on a pedestal, not the dude that jumps into the game and mimics everybody else. You know what I mean? So whether the music is dark, happy, whatever it is, just find your own way of doing it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's what I want to know. Like, is it like, is being a producer like being an artist? Like, do you feel like, have you ever felt pressure to do what they're doing in the moment? Or you just always, are you just who you are enough now to say, no, this is me,
I'm
this
not
is
gonna
what I'm
lie.
doing?
At a certain point in my career, I felt that pressure. Like, I want to say from like 2012 to about 2015, I felt that pressure, and I was kind of confused. I didn't really know. Like anybody that followed my career around that time, from 2012 to 2015, I had a dude that I was working with that, you know, he played the keys and he played different instruments. And to be honest with you, with me, I just felt like it was fucking my sound up. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of just reset. And then after I reset, you know, Wasted Talent came out, Diplomatic Ties came out, El Capo came out, Purple Haze 2 came out. You know, like I was just back in my vibe and the way I like to make music. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think that once I realized that I didn't need nobody to make my sound complete or to kind of fit into what's going on now, because to me, it's like, if you don't love my music, then nothing I make you're going to love, because it's all going to be me. No matter how I make, what tempo it's at, it's me. You know what I mean? So if you fuck with my music before, you'll definitely fuck with the new shit that I'm putting out, 1,000,000%.
What does this mean to you? Wait a second. I can't even say it with a straight face. I like a chick with big tits on her chest, not flat, looking like somebody stepped on her chest. Oh, what?
Oh yeah, that was Gangsta Music Part 2, right? That was Gangsta Music.
Oh my God!
That's about that song. I remember that song ended up on Cam's album, but that was really supposed to be Joel's song, because me and Joel's had did that record. I remember I did the beat. met him in Harlem. He started writing the shit in his car while I'm playing it for him. And
no, that's Jules. That's Jules.
yeah, no, that's Joel's, but it was on Cam's album.
Oh, okay, okay.
It was on Purple Haze, but it was supposed to be Joel's record, like completely Joel's record. But you know, it came out crazy, and I think Cam wanted to put it on his album because Cam wanted to put a verse on there.
I got to do this too. Killer.
Oh yeah, my man, our Steve. My man, our
Oh
Steve.
man.
Actually, what day is today? Yeah, my man, Opera Steve. He hit me last week, and we actually were talking about doing a Killer Cam Part 2.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's actually supposed to come check me this week, and I think we might try to put together a Killer Cam Part 2. And then, you know, send it over to Cam, see what happens.
Oh my God. You know, when you invited me over to your studio, I was so mad because as soon as I left, you and Jim Jones had came. And I'm like, maybe God knew to just let me leave.
Yeah, I think we was yeah, well, around that time, me and him, we were working on El Capo too. I think that time, because we're finished with it now, so we was working on it around that time.
You guys must have a dope relationship because it seems like out of all the people in Dipset, you and Jim work together the most.
I think the thing was Jim works like how I work. Like Jim does things quick. Like I make music quick. Jim will have his verse ready quick, and we just keep moving. We don't really sit and listen to a record 20 times after we do it. We do it, move on. He pull up another beat. I pull up another beat. He does the same thing. If I don't have a beat, I'll make something. You understand? Like he'll tell me the vibe that he's thinking about, and I'll make something that fits that vibe. Like when we did the record with him and Fab, Nothing Lasts. I remember he was in the studio. He was like, yo, I need something like an up-tempo vibe, some Harlem shit. And I just remember I'm going through some samples I had, and I was just fucking around, and I'm like, I started putting it together. I made that beat in probably about like 20 minutes. Just when the vibe is right, man. Like the same thing, the intro to Wasted Talent, never did the 3/4. That was like 15 minutes. It's just, when you catch the vibe, that shit is just it's just a vibe. You don't really want to fuck the vibe because you don't do too much.
Ooh. Look, I would love for you to tell my viewers the story of how you got on that Lil Wayne album, because it was funny. It was funny to me. Yeah, it was funny to me.
Oh, I gave my man British, who he was I don't know if he still manages Cam, but he was managing Cam at one point. My man British was he was cool with Wayne and Baby and all of them, and he came to me. He said, "Yo, Wayne said he wants some beats," and this was like March. So I gave him a CD, and I gave him a CD in March, and I remember them hitting me at like the end of October, because the album came out November 5th, if I'm not mistaken, November 5th, 2005, something like that. I know I'm close. It was around there. So the end of October, I remember one of British hit me and said, "Yo, Wayne picked 2 of the beats. He needs the files." And this is back in the day when the internet wasn't like that. You know what I mean? Like it was AOL and it was other shit like that. So I went to my homeboy's crib and he had dial-up. So they had dial-up service. And I remember me sending 2 beats. That shit might have taken about 6 hours. I sat in his crib for about 5 to 6 hours waiting for 2 beats to go through because I was trying to make the album. But yeah, times changed, man. But that was fire to me.
Yes.
Fire to me. But yeah, we got on the Carter 2 records, The Mob, Receipt.
It sounds like you always you do whatever you gotta do to get that music out there, man.
Of course, always. Like right now, I got a joint coming out on the next album that Ross is working on.
Ooh.
So you're gonna hear some Heat Makers and Ross. We're gonna get it together. Then me and Currency got a project coming out, like a little 5-song EP. And El Capo 2 is done. We just we gonna arrange it, get it mixed, and me and Joel's gonna put out an EP together, maybe like 5 to 7 songs. We working on that now. And yeah, I know I'm missing a bunch of shit, but that's the shit I'm working. Oh yeah, me and my man 38 Special doing a project together. And yeah, just working. I'm just working.
Damn, can you find 20 minutes to let Katie stop by before I have to leave New York? Like, damn.
Yeah, you always welcome.
Yeah, need to fit me into it. Y'all heard him say I'm always welcome, so just check that out. So look at here. I wanted you to just say a couple of words about your friend Fred the Godson because I know we
Yeah,
lost him during COVID.
the you see the shirt I got on?
Oh yeah, Godson. What? Say it. Read it to us.
There's
Gordo.
Big Bronx, Gordo, Federico, Godson, and Fat Boy Fresh. So
Yes.
yeah, y'all if y'all want to support, man, go to his page and buy a couple of these, man. It goes straight to his family. So, but yeah, Fred, like I tell everybody, man, Fred was not just an artist to me. Like Fred was like my brother. Like he was around me and Fred. Like
Yeah.
me and Fred for the last, well, I've known Fred for about 17 years, right? But the last 11 years, me and Fred have been around each other 4 to 5 times a week for the last 11 years. You know what I mean? And we've made a ton of music. We just shared a lot of laughs and jokes and talked about each other's family and kids. And, like we were like brothers, man. Like it wasn't, so I don't think anybody can truly understand. Like even right now, music don't really feel the same for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm still making music because I love music, but it don't feel the same. It's like I lost a piece of that energy that I had before because I'd be making music and Fred would come in and he would motivate me to stay longer and work harder and keep up with him. You know what I mean? Like, and I know anybody that's was around him will tell you the same shit. Jim will tell you the same shit. Fat Joe will tell you the same shit. Fred just had a different energy about him, man, and it'll never be replaced for me. So I'm just trying to somewhat get my groove back. You know what I mean? But that was my brother, 1,000,000%.
Oh man.
And we working on this documentary right now. The same people that shot the Last Dance are shooting. We're shooting the Godson documentary. We got good people that's gonna be in there. All the way from Fat Joe to LL to Wale to Jada to French to people that Fred impacted their life at some point.
Yeah, I only met him that one day, I had heard about him in Connecticut when I was living there, when he first was really on the scene, and his energy was good. Like he just seemed like he was a cool cat.
Nah,
Like,
he's a good, like Fred would give you the shirt. Fred would have gave you the shirt off his back, man. Like, no, you couldn't be hungry around Fred. Let me put it like that. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what it was, Fred was gonna make sure you good. Whether he loved you or disliked you, he was never gonna let you starve around him. So he was a different type of person, man. He kind of made me change my stance on a lot of people. And anybody that knows me know I'm one of the most stubborn people in the world. So it's hard to do that. But Fred's energy made me do that.
that's dope. That is so dope. Have you been able to put any of those emotions in your music, or?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I find myself making a lot more of like music that has that type of like feel to it now. Like, I don't know, I can't describe it. It's just like a mood that I've been in for like the last 2 to 3 months, the type of music I make. And I feel like my music isn't, I can always make aggressive music, you know what I mean? But for me to make like music that has a real mood to it, that's special music to me. Like, like when I did the record with Fred and Joel, it was a record called Hallways on Gorilla Glue. We're about to put out a Gorilla Glue 2 because before Fred passed, he had finished up the project. But we had did a record called Hallways, and I just think that type of vibe is the type of vibe that I've been on for like the last probably like 2 months, 2.5 months maybe.
Well, I definitely know how that feels. I mean, people who watch my show, I mean, I tell them all the time I lost my best friend like a year and some change ago. So I definitely know how that goes. But, you get to a point where you get to a good place, where you can think about them and kind of smile. And then sometimes you have those sad moments, but
To be honest with you, ever since Fred passed, I've always thought about him and had happy memories. I've never thought about him and I felt like depressed because every time we was around each other, it was just laughs and jokes and shit like that. So his memory doesn't affect me in a negative way. You understand? Never has, and I don't think it ever will. It's just the selfish side of me that misses him. You understand? Like,
yeah,
because wherever Fred is at, he's in a better place and he's at ease. You understand? But I'm just selfish in the sense that I miss his presence and his jokes and his company and things like that.
Well, thank you. That's so beautiful for you to share with me all these stories. It was this was a beautiful time. Do you have any closing remarks or anything you
No,
would like to say?
just stay
I mean, would you
tuned.
like
Stay
to
tuned
invite
for
me
the.
to the studio?
Nah, I told you, you're
Excuse.
welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome. You came before. You welcome. Anytime. Just come through. It's all good.
I'm
It's all
coming
good.
next week then. I'm coming next week.
Yeah, we just gotta figure the time, but it's all good. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Okay. All right, and my mama on here, mama, you heard Austin is right. You wouldn't lie to my mama, would you? He
Nah,
made
I
up.
ain't gonna lie to your mother. Your mama carried you good. Mama
Okay,
carried you good.
okay. Look, tell my boy, I'm a big fan of Jules. Tell my boy Jules, I said, hey, no, I'm gonna get a lot of corny points with my family. I already know they see this, but I'm just a big. They had told me they were like, don't act like no big groupie, but I don't give a damn. I rocks with the Bird
Listen,
gang.
man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just appreciate the love, man, because there was times that nobody gave a shit. So I appreciate the love.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
never
man.
turn away the love, man.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man. I mean, like I said, your soundtrack either can make me want to fight or it's gonna make me want to just be motivated to go to the top. But either way it go, I thank you so much for your music. It's been a soundtrack for me and my brother. Like so many days sitting in the southern heat, listening to your jams, man. I'm telling you, really from my heart, I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on Carrie Dangerous Talk. And I'm gonna see you soon.
I appreciate it. All right. Take
All
care.
right. Peace.